What's up guys, welcome to Esports Journal Origins. Today we're here with Javed, otherwise known as DREEALL, a competitive Call of Duty player, and today we're going to be finding out how he got into competitive Call of Duty and his history in the scene. So let's get straight into it. So Javed, how old are you now?
As sad as this sounds, I'm 22. My esports career is going to be coming to an end very shortly, I think. After you reach 22, it all goes downhill from here.
I mean, hopefully not, man. We're hoping for the best next season. But how old are you when you started, and what game was that on? Not competitively, but just playing COD, pubs, anything really.
Well, I didn't start on Call of Duty like a lot of players did. I started on a game called Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. It's similar to COD. It's the OG of all FPS titles. I think I was around 12, 13 when I first started on that. And then from there, I progressed to World at War and I came across GB and then just went from there.
So was it GB straight on World at War? Sorry, is that how you found out about comp? Was it just you saw GBs randomly, or?
I found game battles on Ghost Recon actually. So there's a game mode on Ghost Recon similar to ranked play on Call of Duty, and a lot of players had their bios on there, so it says a lot about them and their teams and whatever. And a lot of players had GameBattles.com on their biography. So I thought one day I'd just check it out, and it turned out to be a site where you can compete against each other. Competed on GB for Ghost Recon. And then back then, GB first implemented World at War. So I thought I'd give World at War a go and just started playing GBs on World at War. And then from there, every title I kept on playing GBs.
Okay, so you started in World at War, obviously playing casually, more so on GBs, as competitive as I imagine you could get in World at War at the time. But you progressed through. I'm guessing you played each title continuously. What game do you think you started really competing, teaming, that sort of thing, or even thought about it and saw that sort of side of the scene?
Well, it was kind of difficult at first when you're young. I had to balance my school. I had to balance parents nagging me and playing and competing. When you're young, you just want to continuously play Call of Duty. There's nothing else on your mind. So my parents were a big influence on sort of shutting me down on competing. So for I'd say World at War till about Black Ops 3. It was all casual. Didn't have any intentions of competing. I just played for fun, played part-time. And then on Black Ops 3, my first proper event was the G20 Summer Masters. And then won a bit of money. We came top 8 under Team Orbit. And then that was when my parents sort of backed off a bit, let me play and let me compete. And then I'd say Black Ops 3 was my first title where I could put some time into it.
So Black Ops 3, we go through Black Ops 3, you obviously placed top 8, and then was that towards the end of the game?
Pardon?
Was that towards the end of the game, the top 8 placement?
That was around July, I believe. I placed top 8 around July, yeah.
Okay, so go through Black Ops 3 and then Infinite Warfare. I'm assuming that's when you really hit it hard, you hit the grind, and you went for the full-time playing, balancing it obviously with uni and stuff, but more so than previous titles.
So Black Ops 3 was during university. I had a lot more time to put in during first year of uni. Infinite Warfare was the first Call of Duty title, actually second Call of Duty title, where I was getting paid to play. And it was a decent wage at the time. It was a decent amount of money for someone in uni and just playing part-time. So I thought I could give it a go, a really good go, because you only have a few opportunities to make something out of esports. So I thought, it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I might as well give it a go, give it a good try. And if nothing happens, I can go back to university and complete my degree. So since Infinite Warfare, I've been trying to compete full-time and trying to make something out of it.
So through Infinite Warfare, I'm guessing you competed at all the local events. I remember there were a few in the UK itself. There was, what was it, Birmingham? I think there's one in Sheffield. How did those go?
If I can remember back at the time, I was playing with Black Forest. Competed at ESWC. We got top 32, which was an average placement. And then, if I can remember, CWL Sheffield was with Black Forest again. We got I want to say we got top 12 or top 16, which again, another average placement. And then after Black Forest was I'd say more of my favorite teams I've ever the players I've teamed with. I teamed with Carbines, Verdict, and Xerox. We got top 12 at Sheffield. For a team who formed maybe 2 days before the event, we beat Vitality on main stage. We should have beaten Elevate as well, in my opinion. We lost last map. I'd say that was the most fun I've had on a team. That was the most. I think that had to be the most enjoyable event for myself up until that point. Yeah.
So you played locally in UK, and obviously SWC Paris was quite a big event. I remember there was a lot of support on that. But as the year came to a close, you attended DREEALL Champs 2017, correct?
We did, yeah.
What roster and org was that under?
It was so EGL Sheffield and LCQs. We were under Opulent, and that was Carbines, Verdict, and Xerox. Carbines was more of a established COD player. He teamed with LDLC, Exertus. He was more established compared to myself. Xerox was also more established compared to myself. He was a French god. He played for Supremacy on the Black Ops 3 Pro League. And Verdict was the new kid, the inexperienced new kid. And yeah, we qualified for COD Champs. Last map 6-0 against Endura's team.
So do you feel like that was a good moment for establishing yourself, building some stock for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like qualifying for COD Champs on LAN, it was the hardest, in my opinion, it's ever been. On LAN, you can't get a free ride to COD Champs like previous years. Previous titles, people have booted their way to COD Champs. People have used regional-based qualifiers for COD Champs. But this year was the hardest, in my opinion, to qualify. With everything being offline as well, I felt like we've truly deserved to be at Champs, and I felt like it provided some sort of credibility towards my name. Up until that point, I was known for more of an online player, if anything, or just a random player. And I felt like COD Champs provided some sort of credibility onto my name.
I mean, that's the goal for a lot of players in itself. To get into COD Champs itself is a pretty big achievement for COD players. Obviously, there's only a limited amount of people that even do that in the first place, especially now with competition getting a lot harder. So, yeah. Infinite Warfare closes out COD Champs. You don't place perfectly, but obviously you've placed yourself in a decent position. At least you've given yourself a bit of stock for the next game. How do you feel you started off World War II?
We say a bit of stock. Coming out of COD Champs 2017, there was absolutely no stock. In fact, it was negative stock. It was terrible. Just a bit of COD Champs itself. It was a participation medal. That's all it was. We had the most difficult group. We didn't do anything. We just went there for a holiday. It was kind of annoying. And then going into World War II, it was really difficult to try and form a team. It was more, like I said, I didn't really have any stock, so I was just trying to pick up players who'd be willing to play. Obviously, Carbines and Verdict were willing to play, so we picked up Benji. Benji brought Brash along with him. So we thought, yeah, why not? We have a good org with very, very good backing, a lot of money, a lot of resources. We thought, yeah, we'll just give it a go. And then the first 2 months were absolutely fucking shit. Might as well not have played. I don't think we should have played. It was an absolute joke. It's the best way I can describe it. We were terrible online. We were getting top 32s and 2Ks. We were an absolute laughing stock with the scene. We were getting paid to play when we were this bad. Then we went to Dallas. That was the first CWL Open event. And we did average. So consider the fact that we're getting top 64 in 2Ks in Europe. And then we ended up placing top 40. Yeah, top 40 is not a good placement, but we beat Killer's team, which was an achievement at the time. Sender, who's now on E6, Diabolic, Killer, and someone else. That was good for us. That was a bit of a confidence boost. So yeah, maybe we can actually play the game. We're getting paid to play, so let's actually play the game, right? That's you're getting paid to play the game. No, that didn't happen.
So you feel like the start of World War II was rough for yourself, and obviously that's one of the downsides of the system itself that many people feel. But going into Black Ops 4, hopefully that's changed, less pro point dependency, and hopefully that'll shape up better for yourself. But as you progress through World War II, obviously we saw you round out the year at COD Champs on the quite well I would say quite well-established team. People were giving you a lot of credit for how you were doing in the last chance qualifiers and how well you were doing. How do you feel about that team, and how do you feel it went? How do you feel like Champs 2018 was itself?
Well, that team was a last-minute team. Well, I say last minute. We picked up Dylan last minute. I'd say a week before LCQs, Denza received an offer from Tommy. Obviously, you can't say no to Tommy, and none of us would say no to Tommy if you offered. So that left us trying to find a player who was similar to Den's play style. So Dylan Codd, yeah, just gave him the opportunity, and what a player he turned out to be.
I mean, that's always good. Bringing through a player is always important, but also I feel like not only was Dylan appreciated, but I feel like a lot of the team was also given some credibility in itself. So we've gone through all the CODs you've played so far, at least competitively. Do you have any highlights of your career, highlight placings, highlight moments, anything that you feel like is your biggest?
A highlight for personal placing was MLG Anaheim. I had the highest respawn KD out of everyone at Anaheim. Even regardless, I played 4 games and they played 14, 15. But for a self-confidence standpoint, it was very good for myself. It was very good for my mentality. It's shown that maybe if I had the team around me with Dens and Nevo, I could actually perform if given the opportunity. I proved to people that I'm not actually trying to steal a living. I've put in the time. I put 20-hour days to try and improve, and I competed against the best, I felt like. From a non-playing standpoint, a highlight of my COD career, well, highlight of my esports career would be doing the Grime Daily stuff. At the time, I had no idea about Grime. Absolutely no idea. I had no idea who any of them were. I had no idea about the genre of music, whatever. But now that I've listened to it and I'm more accustomed to it, I understand who I actually did videos with. Like, for example, Notes. I understand how big of a grime artist he actually is now. And it was a lot of fun to do that. So yeah, them two would have to be my my highlights. Of course, champs will always be a highlight. My first champs will always be a highlight because of the manner in which we won. Last map 6-0. We maintained composure and we qualified. So that's another highlight, I guess.
So for anyone that doesn't actually know about the Grime Daily stuff, I saw a little bit of it, but could you explain to the people that are watching right now who don't understand exactly what you guys did?
Right. So basically, Grime Daily run a YouTube channel for some of the biggest grime artists in the world and up-and-coming grime artists, where they showcase their music. And after I qualified for COD Champs, they approached me asking me if I wanted to create some videos. They didn't say who with. They didn't say what it was. What I was going to do, but I thought it was an opportunity I couldn't refuse. And then closer to the time, they said I'm going to be playing Call of Duty against a grime artist. But yeah, that'd be a cool idea. Get to play against, get to have some fun against some grime artists. And then they told me that it was a grime artist called Notes, Hardy Caprio, a few others. I can't remember who, Jay Silver and someone else.
A few of the bigger names, clearly.
Yeah, yeah. And at that time, I had no idea about grime. It wasn't it isn't my kind of music. But since then, I am a big fan of grime. Yeah, so I was grateful to meet them and to be able to do that and to form a connection with Grime Daily. So I'll be hopefully doing future videos with them.
I'm not sure I will be seeing you hitting the grime scene anytime soon with your new rap career after the esports stuff is over, but hopefully that's a good connection for the future. So we touched a little bit earlier on you and your parents getting out to events and stuff. Have you got any tips for players themselves that are obviously doing well online and feel like they can make the step into the amateur scene and go into events? Any tips for even getting themselves out there, convincing their parents, stuff like that?
Well, for me personally, it was very difficult to convince my parents. The biggest advice I could give is make sure, if your parents, for example, want you to continue with your studies, make sure you keep on top of your studies. Make sure you learn how to schedule. Make sure you learn how to prioritize. If you're under 18 especially, there's no need for you to throw away your education for this. Not at the moment. Keep your education. Keep a plan B. So then until when you turn 18, at least you've got the required qualifications to then pursue gaming full-time. Obviously, if it doesn't work full time, you can always go back to education. You'll have a plan B. So when I'm done with COD, I'm going to go back to university and study to become a dentist. That's my plan B. If you don't have your GCSEs and COD doesn't work out for you, what is your plan B? In my opinion, COD is not in a stable position where you can fully commit. It's only for the 1% at the moment. So that's my best piece of advice. If you start earning money, if you start showing your parents that you can manage your education and you can earn something from COD, then maybe they'd be more lenient and maybe they'd be more willing to let you travel and let you do stuff like that. That's my biggest advice anyway.
So the biggest tips are make sure you're keeping on top of your studies, make sure you have your plan B so your parents can understand it, but also at the same time, don't necessarily throw it all away for the sake of playing COD itself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say that's good advice. That'd probably help a lot of people in terms of convincing their parents.
Yeah, this is also another opinion. If you're under 18 especially, look at someone like Big Roy. People might laugh at him. People might think he's a comedian, but he's building some sort of a brand for himself at 14. I'd recommend all under 18s to build a brand for yourself, market yourself, stream, create content. So by the time you are 18, you have something to fall back on at least. So you're using that time efficiently, and you've got something ready. I wish I was under 18. I wish I created a brand for myself back then, and I was streaming and I was doing YouTube. You know, you get to my age and you're thinking about ifs and buts and maybes. So that's all I can say, I guess.
Well, I feel like that's good advice, especially building brand stuff. That's obviously really important, and we see people like Louis CM, Copley, although they're not necessarily going to the Pro League all the time, they've definitely built a brand for themselves that a lot of people in Europe look up to and also enjoy their streams and content itself. So, we've talked about your history. Next year we're going into Black Ops 4, a lot to be excited about, Blackout, competitive season, even pubs themselves are looking pretty exciting. How do you see yourself going into next year? Have you got any teams sorted? Have you got any plans?
Yeah, we have a team sorted. Next year I just want to go into it to prove myself again as a player, to show that I can compete. I had a very strong end of World War II, and I know I can be a lot better, and I just want to show that I can be a lot better. I want to give streaming another go and continue to build my brand. Maybe if competitive doesn't work, I can get into streaming or whatever. So that's the goal for next year. Just to keep grinding and working hard.
So who's the team for going into next year? If that's announced yet.
I can announce it. It's not really a secret. It's myself, Benji, Xerox, Smalls, and Indora at the moment.
Okay, it's a pretty strong team to be fair. I'll be looking forward to seeing how you guys do next year. So that's been your Origins. We're pretty excited to see how you do. Obviously, you've placed well previously, and hopefully next year is the signs of you not having to quit at the age of 22 after your university degree's over. But This has been the DREEALL interview. My name's Abe. Please check out DREEALL's Twitter. It's obviously shown beneath his face cam at the moment. Please check out the Esports Journal Twitter. And for anyone curious about the Brash run for COD Champs 2018, Alisha on Twitter wrote an article about that on the Esports Journal page. Also, huge thank you to Ember OTG for whipping up the overlay really quick. I did it really last minute and messed up myself, but just a huge thank you to him, so make sure you drop him a follow too. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been Origins episode 3, and I'll see you next week.